last video, I demonstrated how to make these shadow box frame cards or home decor items. Really fun. And in that video, I showed what happened when I just started playing and creating, and I ended up making this. And I promised in the video that I would demonstrate how I created these embellishments, and I had many of you comment that you would like to see how to make these flowers, and they're really fun and really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create this type of shadow frame box. So refer to my earlier video. You'll see it in my videos under shadow box frame card on how to create this. Very easy. So I've just gone ahead and done this. And I've used the Fruit Stand Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up. So I've done some prep work ahead of time, and I used my Flower Fair framelit dies with my Big Shot and some more Fruit Stand Designer Series paper. And I used the largest flower. Hopefully you can see that okay. And I cut out about, I think I cut out 9 of these because I'm going to use 3 circles per flower. So I cut those. Then I used this piece here, and I cut, I think I only cut 2 of these. Yeah, I just cut a couple of those. You can cut as many as you like. I used this die to cut out that flower. I used this one to cut out this one here, and I cut out 4 of these. Cut out 4 of these. Then I took some old olive cardstock and I cut out a whole whack of leaves using these 2 dies. So all of these dies that I've just shown you are in the Flower Fair Framelit collection. Now you're going to notice that I have sponged the edges on all of the pieces that I've cut out. So to do that, I took my early espresso ink pad, and I took a piece of sponge, and I just have a clothes peg that I keep handy sometimes so that I don't get ink all over my fingers, and I just sponge around the edges. And I did that on both sides of the paper. You don't have to do it both sides, but I did. The next step is to take a water bottle. This is just one of my old Stampin' Mist bottles that I filled up with water, and I'm going to lightly mist on both sides of my paper and literally scrunch it up. I know, that's crazy, but these are actually my favorite flowers, and I've demonstrated this in other videos that I've made. You're going to open them up, set it aside. The mist just makes the paper soft enough to crumple it and get some really good crease marks. So you're going to do that to all the pieces cut out. It looks like you've chewed it for a while and spit it back out. But these make the nicest, coolest flowers. I'll show you with the leaf as well. Okay. So I'm going to finish this with all the pieces, and you want these to dry, and what I like to do is speed up the drying process using my heat tool and my scissors to hold it down so I don't burn myself, and I just zap it until it's dry on both sides. When these are dry, you won't believe how hard these are. It's crazy. And I'm just going to lightly sponge over some of those creases that we made by crunching it up. Okay, doesn't look like much now, but you just wait. It's going to turn into a beautiful flower. Okay, so bear with me. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my piece. Now it's time to put the flowers together, and this part is so much fun. So I've got my silicone pad. I'm going to squeeze on some hot glue. I'm going to kind of crumple up the first layer and just push it down into that hot glue. Squeeze some hot glue in the center of that. Then take another petal, and I'm squishing it up and setting it down in the middle and holding it there for a minute. and repeat with the third layer. Again, just crumple it, stick it in the middle, and you can see how the flower is coming along, and then you can just open up those layers and play with the flower until you get the look that you want. Okay, I'm going to put another little dab of hot glue and take this little piece here and stick it in the middle. I'm just going to take my scissors and just kind of push it down and then squeeze all these layers up again. These are really fun to make. If you have any of our scallop circle punches that Stampin' Up! Has, some are retired, but I use them a lot too to make these flowers, and you can make all different sizes. You can do this with any of our flower dies and punches. I absolutely love making these. I always have. And they're so much fun to make with tinier shapes and make tiny little flowers. And of course you can use these flower embellishments for so many different projects. So there are the flowers, and then once the glue is dry they just peel right off. Now it's time to work on the frame. So you can put whatever you want on the center of the frame. You can do that first if you want. I use the labeler alphabet stamp to make my little quote, but you can put a photo in here. You can put anything that you want. So on this one, I'm actually going to put my words on first and then the flowers. For the quote that I used on this shadow box, I used the labeler alphabet stamp set from Stampin' Up! It's a really fun set to use. So I'm going to use this for today's project. So when I trim my Whisper White cardstock for making cards, I usually end up with little bits and pieces like this, and I can't throw them out because I use them for banners and for making words using my alphabet stamps. So I am going to take out my letters. I'm going to use my Memento ink. I have my tiny little block, and I'm just going to start inking up and stamping my letters to create the quote, "Live the life you've always imagined." So just stamp down nice and firm. There's my L. I personally am not cleaning this because I know that for these solid letters that have the black, I almost always use the black. So I just kind of stamp it off and put it right back onto my sheet. And it's surprisingly quick to put your phrases together. So just line it up. I put each letter back right away because the last thing I want to do is lose a letter. But one of the cool things about this stamp set is you have extra vowels and extra letters so that you could actually put them all on the same block at the same time and stamp it all at once. Just show you how I line them up, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And then I'll do the rest afterwards. There we go. Word number 1. So I'm going to do the rest of my stamping and then trim them out and come right back. So a couple things I want to show you. One is if I have a little gap between the letters, I don't know if you can see that, but if I have a little gap because I just haven't lined it up properly, I just take my black marker and fill that in. Now it's time just to trim these out. And then I'm going to add little pieces of Stampin' Dimensionals behind each word. Okay, all my words are put together. Now it's time to glue them onto the frame. So I'm just going to line them up to find the positions that I like for them. Okay, so I actually pretty much like that. So I'm just going to peel off the backings and stick them down. And what I've done is I've lined this up with this. I've kind of lined this up with that one, and I'm going to use that for this one. Okay, so there are my words. Now it's time to add the flowers. So I've got my hot glue gun again, and I'm just going to stick some hot glue behind that and stick a flower there. Now I'm going to add a little greenery and tuck it under. Now I want to make flowers with these pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it all up so that I have a bit of a point. Then I just kind of open them up. So I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just kind of squeezing like this bottom bit here. Squeeze out some hot glue on my silicone mat, and then I just push my flower into that. I'm just going to let it sit for a minute while I do it to the second one. Again, I'm just folding it up, kind of folding it again just so I can get a point on the bottom, and then I open it up. So, you know, really there's no right or wrong way. It's just however you choose to like smush up your flowers. It's gonna look good no matter what you do. I just want to kind of like pucker it together and have it kind of stay that way. Again, some more glue. And then hold it down. Okay, so before I add any more flowers, I want to take a piece of my burlap ribbon, and I'm just pulling out some of the strands. Okay, so I've got some strands here, and I'm going to tie 3 of them into a knot. Again, there's no right or wrong way. It's just so that I can kind of open them up to get it to look like that. Just so I can open them up, flare them out a little bit. And then I'm trimming off the excess. And I'm going to tuck this right underneath here. I'm going to do the same thing with these 2 strands. It's just so I can add some different texture. You can add any kind of ribbon. Just kind of tuck that underneath the flower. So you can see it just adds a little bit of fun, breaks up the paper by having that. Now I'm taking some more burlap ribbon, folding up the end, and I'm just snipping a little tail into it and trim that off a little bit. And do the same thing with this piece. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit of glue at the top corner and add this little burlap banner that I've created. Right there, like so. And I'm going to add a little bit of burlap on this side as well. I have a longer piece of the burlap ribbon now, and I'm going to pull out a few more pieces, and these pieces are going to be for a bow. I'm going to take out 3 pieces. And simply tie a bow. trim off the ends. And that is going to go right there. I'm going to add a couple more flowers now. Put a little hot glue on this piece and I'm going to tuck it into this corner. Just holding it for a second, holding it into place. And then take this one and tuck it right here in the corner. And I'm going to add some more leaves. And then we have these little guys. Just kind of add them randomly. Okay, this is a piece of the backing that comes with the Designer Series paper, and I've cut it to measure 2.5 by 10. So I'm just simply going to fold that in half. This is going to be my stand. I'm just adding some hot glue to the back of it. And put that in the center. So that's my stand. And now it's time to add some diamonds. Now I'm just going to add a few pearls on the inside. This is really fun. I really enjoy making these. Again, here's the one I made the other day. And just using different Designer Series paper, you can get the whole different look. I did add a little bit of our paper doily here that I didn't add to this one. So I hope you enjoyed that. Those paper flowers are really easy and just add serious wow to your projects. So give it a whirl. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Happy stamping.